Oh, scan some things together. Yeah, yeah. All right. So I'm back to speak some more stuff. Um, the first thing I'm going to try to do every time is that I'm always having some beverage, right? So I want to tell you what I have so you at least know what the hell I'm drinking. You know what I mean? This here is Absence. One of my actors, Daniel Pelletier, who plays Syl, the baddie. It's just appropriate that introduces me to Absence, which is really a cool drink. You know, it's kind of pricey, and what's nice about it is that you pour cold water. You get some Absence. You get about maybe like a like a shot glass full. You put it in your glass, and then you get a strainer and you put it on top of the glass, and then you get some sugar, like a sugar cube, and then some ice cold water, and you slowly pour it on top of the cube and let the cube and the sugar and the water and the sugar drop into the cup, and it just kind of makes a nice balance of sweet and kind of like licorice taste. And man, it's nice. So, and it's also called the Green Fairy. So if you go to your local liquor store, depending what it is, actually go to a big one. Not everyone has it. And it's called Absence. It actually just got legalized not too long ago. So I would, if I was you, check it out. It's really good. Doesn't make you drunk like. I mean, I'm quite sure you can get drunk if you drink enough of this. But what it does, it gives you like a mellow feel. You know what I mean? It's not like it's almost like weed. You know what I mean? Just liquid. But it's different. It just makes you kind of just relax. And just kind of take back, not the drunk Jack Daniels deal. You know what I mean? Where you yell at the moon and whatnot, trying to get into a fight. This here, called the Green Fairy. That's the other name for it. And as you see why, because it's green, and there's sugar in it, and there's just water, and of course all the beautiful mixtures that makes the Absence. So I would definitely look it up. Go on YouTube, look up Absence, and see how it's made. And it's worth getting. Don't get an Abs if it costs less than like $55, don't get it. They cost a bottle, like probably all the way up to like about $80. So between $50 and $80, you good. You know what I mean? Anything below that, nah. It's just like alcohol. Don't trust it. So anyway, Viva la Absence. All right, yeah. So earlier today, I was in my car, right, and I had an idea that came to my head. I'm gonna start using. I thought it was a really good idea. So go on my page and you check it out. Had a quick little idea in my head, and it's something that I'm actually probably was always doing and just never realized it. But now, I just thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use that for the future because we're always learning. We're always trying to push the envelope. We're always trying to do something different as artists. So, and I thought about something. So check it out. So yeah, so I've been hearing in the past like 2 weeks or so that everyone's talking about the Dave Chappelle show, the new one, Sticks and Stones, and listen, I know my little 2 cents is not going to make much waves, you know what I mean? But I do want to give my 2 cents to you people, you guys who actually, come by and check out my blog. And I think that the new Chappelle show is actually great. It's not his best. It's not his best. But you know what? I tell you what, the controversy is not controversy. I mean, he does go in some places that's kind of a little iffy, but what he's telling you, he's saying, you know what? What's the point of being a comedian if I can't go a little too far? Because there's comedians out there that have gone way too far. And it's all about taste. Like anything else, just like directing, it's all about craft. And you have to have a timing, and you have to know what to touch, when not to touch. And if you do touch it, how do you serve it without burning somebody in the audience? And he does that masterfully. So if I was you, I'd say go ahead and see Sticks and Stones. I mean, he has really good stuff in there. Like I said, it's not his best one, but it's really worth seeing. In fact, I saw it twice and liked it better the second time around. So I just want to say it's not that controversial. Yeah, he hit on some points or whatever, but you know what? As opposed to a whole bunch of other people, and anyone that's going to hit those points or even touch those areas, I, I'm happy that he did it. Someone experienced, someone who has skill and craft behind what he does, and who's damn near genius at this. So if you're going to touch something very sensitive as a comedian, you damn sure better be good at it, you know? So, and he is. So I definitely highly recommend it. So check it out. So tonight too, you know, I'm always talking about directing, producing, really film work. There's film in general. There's just various subjects of film. And before I get into that, I do want to kind of veer left real quick and say thank you for all those who have come into my page. I appreciate you wanting to come in, check it out, see what I'm up to, what I do, what I don't do, what I've been doing, what I plan to do. And I thank you all for coming in to my page, looking at my production, and just, just supporting it. You know, even being here, everyone that's on now, thank you very much for looking, checking me out, see what the hell I'm talking about. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? And Frank, hello, how you doing, man? Thanks. What's up? And I just want to say hello to all you guys, because you know what? Most of the time, the people that come on and watch my vlog and just watch me talk about things, it's our artists, because I'm an artist. So my interest lies in anything that's to do with artistry. So that could go from paintings to movie making and whatever you do as an artist. And since my expertise, my interest, and my skill level is going to be in filmmaking, I mostly deal with what I know really well, you know. And if anybody else out there that does something else, I'm always open to learning new things. So that's why, you know, I'm always looking for some input, whoever you are, even when I'm on or off, throw it out there, you know, and let's see what we can do. I'm definitely, I've been saying this for a while, but it's just really hard to get people at times, especially now because I'm actually filming I'm preparing for 3 scenes for my season 2, and just preparing for that's a lot, you know, getting people's schedules together, getting all the wares together, just doing all the coordination, doing the rehearsals, doing all of that, you know, while working a 9 to 5 gets kind of, you know, dicey and tight. So even doing this now, talking to you guys, is like my time to myself. You know what I mean? And so that's why it's hard for me to say, okay, now I'm going to get somebody, we're going to schedule a time, we're going to sit here, we're going to talk. I do plan to do that. I really do. But I will do it soon. But right now, season 2 is in my brain, and we have a lot of things we have to do that I have to prepare for, and all my guys are getting ready. And so we can give you at least another season, another couple of episodes that look bigger and better and brighter, with new characters coming about, new actors expressing their, their work, and just lifting the existing characters where they are now, so you can understand them more. So that's what I'm into right now. So that's why it's always just me. You know, it's hard to get people. That's why it's just me for now. But I hope you don't mind just me for a little while. But to go into what I wanted to speak about is directors, right? I'm a director, producer, writer. Well, I always say that, you know, I'm always saying writer, but I'm really more of a storyteller. I always say that. I mean, writers are people who can probably, be English professors. I am not that. I'm a storyteller. I can get across what I need to get across, be slick about it, however I can be. But that's why I'm more of a storyteller, you know. It's a very fine line. If someone's saying you're a writer, you're a storyteller, you're a writer, it's a very fine line. But you know what? There is a difference either way. There really is. So anyway, that's what I say. But anyway, let me just stop veering off to the left and shit. Anyway, so directors. This is for directors. How to work a scene. How do you do that? I don't know. How do you do that? Well, I do my way. Everyone has their ways, right? But I think there's something that there's a common denominator when doing a scene, especially as a director. And that is having the correct block every time. Making sure you know exactly what you want. I think that's better to say that. Know exactly what you want, and prep is the key. That is huge. You know, for any director, prep is everything. And when I say how to work a scene, is about how to maneuver all the parts to get what you want across for that scene. So a lot of times, most of it starts before you even start shooting. So rehearsals are everything, you know? And a lot of times you don't really want to over rehearse. If you over rehearse, you can really make everything stale. You know what I mean? If you don't rehearse, not saying it's going to be bad, but it could be a lot better, and it's going to kill your time when you start filming, because people are going to make a lot more mistakes than they need to be. Then others, if you just rehearse just enough, and then when I say just enough, right, it's so vague, right? People say, well, what's just enough? Just enough is 2 times, 3 times, whatever. You know what just enough is for me? 3 rehearsals. If it's dialogue, I say 3 tops, and that is it. I wouldn't want to do any more than 3 rehearsals tops, because I still want it to be fresh for the actors, even for myself and for the crew, and just for the experience. You know, you don't want it to be too dry, because if they keep doing it and they're doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it, it's going to sound like a machine. Yeah, sure, professional actors can, you know, make it sound natural, but trust me, either way, most of the time it's probably going to sound stiff and wooden, or it's going to sound like a machine. It's not going to sound realistic. So I say 2 or 3 times. Then when you do that, you make sure that wherever you're going is set up the way you need to be set up. You know, whoever you're working with or you renting, I would do my best, even after every rehearsal, whenever you can get that, is to go to these places and just be on, just make sure everything is right. And, you know, and that's general too, but the way, when I say something like that, I'm like, I'm on top of it. Like, I'm on their ass. You know what I mean? I'm everywhere. Like, I'm very meticulous about where things are, where they're going to be, and then when the equipment comes in, the people come in, or who comes in, how does all this work? Like, how is it all going to work together that day? You know what I mean? I do want to make sure one thing about my production and how my scene is going to get worked is that I'm going to make sure that everyone is just concentrating on what they need to do, and that's my job. So when you come into my set, you come with me, you don't have to worry about any other thing than what you have to do, and that's what I want. And when you work a scene, you get a scene working, it works really well when everyone just has that one job they have to do, and that's it. And you're the maestro, and you put it all together. Because the less people have to think, the easier it's for them to do their job, and the more authentic it's going to be, and the much more relaxed they're going to be. So you want to kind of make that environment first. So it's all a setup first before anything is even shot. It's all about the setup, and that starts in pre-production, of course, in rehearsals and things. Now, in my case, I can't get everybody to come for rehearsals every time. You know, sometimes I have like 6 people in the scene, 5 people in the scene or whatever, but we all are doing different things. Indie filmmakers, indie directors, producers, you know that a lot of times we can't get everybody at one time, man. You know, everyone's doing all these things. So what you have to be is a freaking scientist and figuring out what 2 or 3 or whoever you can get. If you can't get everybody, needs to rehearse more. Like, what pressure points within that scene needs to be perfect, or just damn near perfect, you know, in order for the scene to work. And maybe you may have to say, well, if this piece doesn't work, it's not going to kill the whole scene. It can be better, but it won't kill the scene. But I got to make sure this works. So you always got to compromise. You have to weigh it out, you know, and that's your judgment. So that's how that starts before. So when you start going onto the set, you got everybody together, you know what I mean? And I'm not getting into all the insurances and all these little things you probably talk with the producer and all kinds of changes you have made. I'm not going to get into all that because that gets a little dicey and hairy, and that's all goes in different directions. It can be anywhere. Just the overall part of it is that when you solidify exactly what you have to do, as much as you can, because you're not going to get everything at once. Like, you're not going to get everything you need at one time. It's just not going to happen. You know, you just have to get what you can get, work with the best what you can get, and then see what happens, pretty much. But working the scene too, after you get all the prep and then you start shooting, even before you start shooting at the lighting or whatever, the angles, and you say, okay, this is what we're going to shoot first, okay? And when you do that, you know, I mean, that's it. Okay, now what you want is to, one thing is make sure those actors and actresses, you know who they are, obviously, but then you know what you need to say to them now personally. Now, if you haven't said it before, now you should know this as a director or a producer when you work close with your actors, especially them, is how to talk to each one the way they need to be spoken to. You speak to, and a lot of times too, they come all together and you're just a freaking blowhorn. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, everybody, yeah, 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 yeah. Then when you speak to them one-on-one, you know what I mean? By themselves or just one-on-one, you know, on the set or whatever with the other actor or what have you, then there's a way of approaching them to make sure they get everything they can out of it in the way they want you to approach. But no matter how you speak to any of them, you know what I mean, or any of your crew, there's always one common denominator. There's always one major thing that you must have every time, no matter who you are, what level you're on, and that is honesty, and that is authenticity about what you're saying. Meaning that what you're saying is true to the heart what you're talking about, and you're not lying. You know, you're being fucking honest. But even more important than that is knowing what you exactly want. No matter how crazy it may sound at the moment or whatever, but you know you want that. And if you can't get that, you do your damn best to try to get it. And you still can't get that, and then you start chipping away a little bit. But what that does, it tells everybody around you that they don't have to worry about where we're going. You know where we're going. You know what a trip is. They're just there. They help along with the ride. You know what I mean? And that's one other thing that no one should have to worry about but you as a director. And that's my job. And I love that. And actually, it's easy for me because I know exactly what I want mostly every time. You know what I mean? Now, when I have to cut things away, that's okay. But the worst thing is not knowing what you want and then knowing that you don't have everything you need and then trying to finagle all that together to try to get to a place where you're comfortable. That's chaos. So that's why you want to get into a place, mental chaos, really. That's why you want to get into a place where you know, okay, this is where we're going to be. You tell everybody how it's going to be. And then when you're one-on-one with your actors, or you're working intimately with your actors on the scene to try to get something right, you know how to speak to those guys. And that's why rehearsals help a whole lot, because then everybody starts to come out. Personalities start to really shine. You start to see who responds to what and how and when. And that's when you start getting into them during the scene. You start really telling them how it should be and trying to bring out the strength in them. Because a lot of times they may have done something so long, which, you know, in one way so long that they don't know how to do anything another way. And you see that light. You see that extra part of them. And when you see that extra part of them, you have to convince them. You know what I mean? You have to just shake them. Like, look, you can go right. Stop going left into the middle all the time. You know what I mean? Go right sometime. Get a little uncomfortable. And that's where you're going to shine. That's what people are going to see. And that's what's going to make your movie special, because a lot of times then your movie always should be something. There always should be for something for an actor that they have never done, not saying never done before, but it's just different. So you know, as a creator, those actors are going to do something they haven't done in others. And you want to pull the best you can out of them, you know what I mean? And they want that. I would want that. Everybody would want that. The challenge. You just have to know your crew. You can't go in there like a bull. You have to go in there like a surgeon with everyone, because every movement, every slice matters. And all the stuff that goes on in the back and everything else, the audience is always going to see. So when you work in the scene, you're not just working what's on the paper, nor with just where you know you're going to go. Yeah, that's part of it. Also, working the scene is working the people around you. Get them into that place that you need them to get into, however you can. And that's why, like I said, I'm going to go back to that again. Why rehearsals are important. You just don't worry about what they're doing, but you worry about who they are when they're doing it. You know, people like personalization. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you want someone that knows you, or even know your nickname, or things you like? You know what I mean? Because you work with us, you work with each other so much. Shit, you better know about me. So that's why rehearsals, hanging with together is very important, because when you're on the set, everything just flies, man. I mean, everything starts flying quick and everything else. And you as the creator, you as a director, working that scene is massaging that whole thing, playing that piece like a fucking genius is what you want. Making that music, man. I can say probably that's what it is. It's like making music with everybody. Everyone has to be on the same page and everyone looks at you first. But then get into the scene itself, how you make that scene work, not just for you and the actors and everyone there, but how you now making it work for the audience, right? The way you make it work for the audience is pace. Making something, first thing you want always is to film a lot. Like, just film everything you want. Doesn't matter. Don't worry about this. You want to get this, get that. Film it a bunch of times. Film more than you have to. Freaking film 40% more. All right? That's just like the magic number with these things. Okay? So if you want to do that, film way more than you have to. Just film a lot. And then when you get into the editing room, you can start telling the story. But always understand, even when you're filming everything, look at what you're filming and saying, okay, just get an idea exactly in your head how the cut should be. All right. Actually, you should know how the cut should exactly be to a point. You know what you want. And then you get each scene. Now, each scene you film should never slack. Every scene should never seem lazy. Doesn't matter if you like that scene more or you like that person doing that more. It doesn't matter. They're all your babies. You have to give them all the attention, the same attention across the board. Okay, the same passion across the board. From the action, from the from just a simple dialogue scene, even if it's a simple dialogue scene, all the way to maybe, I don't know, a really, really sad scene. All of that needs your attention, because now what you're doing is you're not just filming it and kind of getting everything you can out of the actors. Now you're making that whole piece shine. Like, they all shine. Like a bunch of balls, it's all shine. And you're like, man, doesn't matter where I put these and in what place I put them in, they're all going to shine bright. And everyone's going to see it. So my point's going to come across really nicely. I don't want to look at one that's a little dull, because you know what? That wasn't so exciting as the other one. I don't like that person too much anyway, so I'm not going to put too much into it. I'm just going to try to move it along and get it going and get to the next one, what I really like to do. If you think like that, the movie is going to look like, I don't know, a mess. And so your passion behind it, the audience is going to feel it, actors are going to feel it, the crew's going to feel it, the producers are going to feel it. This is a very emotional business that we're in, guys, right? I mean, isn't it really emotional? I mean, everything we do is fucking feelings. You know what I mean? So why not put all of your feelings where it needs to be into your project? Work in the scene. Understand, work in the scene is more than just saying cut, action, hey, go over here, all right, and it's a wrap. It's more than all that. It's just you as a chef with all of these ingredients, and you got to make the shit taste right. And you're doing your best with that. You know what I mean? You're doing your best, and that is your job. And those that can cook well, those are the ones we keep going back. We keep going back because we want to keep tasting it again and again. And you do your best to kind of make it the best way you can every time. But if you have a solid plan of where you're going, it's easier to alter the plan when you know exactly where you're going, because a lot of times those alterations don't take too much of a turn and they don't hurt as much. They just little tweaks. But when you're not sure exactly where you're going and then you're trying to find where it is, don't do that during the set. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. And that's going to be madness. You know what I mean? And then you come out with a big pile of shit. So you do your best. So that's my opinion. My way of working the scene is always starts with pre-production, starts when you're doing the scene and making sure that you're putting the best of what you have in each and every shot and scene. I didn't even put shot yet. But yeah, it's very true. Not just to see him, but every fucking single shot, you do your freaking best, knowing that if anything was to happen, if everything stopped at that one shot, you know that everything that you did was the best you can do, and you got everything you want out of those shots. Always think of it that way. Every shot is your last shot. Look at it that way. Every shot's your last shot. I look at it that way. Hell, I had a freaking experience, something close to that I have to reshoot on September 20th this year, 2019. You know what I mean? My SSD card died on me. And I just, 7 hours of footage out the door, gone. You know what I mean? Pieces of people's essence gone. And I was like, oh my God, but we're gonna do it over, we're gonna do it better. But so I know what it means to make sure that shot that you do could be your last shot for some reason. So film it that way. So every time people see it, no matter how old it gets, it always has weight, always has feeling behind it, and that shit always fucking shines. So that's my take on it. Simple as it may seem, but that's what it is. Don't make things complicated. It's one thing that I learned going to sets, doing my own thing, is that people really don't care how you do it, just do it. How are you going to get there? No one really cares. There's a lot of people that I heard, that I've been to, that I sat down with them, and they sound like fucking geniuses. But they don't know how to tell a story worth a damn. They don't know how to speak to anybody worth a damn. They don't even know how to inspire anyone. In fact, they don't even know how to lead. And with their concept of leading is misconstrued by some past reference of theirs that never worked or no one ever liked. So you have to be honest with yourself of saying, you know what, how would I want to be treated? Well, I'm just going to reverse that, and this is how I'm going to do it. And those that need to be here will, and those that don't will leave. They'll quit or whatever. So working the scene, man, is very important. It's very important because it's not just filming. You know what I mean? It really isn't. Because if that's the case, everybody would be robots. And you wouldn't have to worry about talking to them, feeding them, or whatever. Insurance, we don't have none of that, right? But you do, because they're real people. They're people. So you got to treat them that way. So, like I say, that's my take on it. Anyone out there that has any other things they want to talk about, ideas, let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys. As you know, I'm always busy as hell. I like to do these once a week. I'm always working on this. I got season 2 that I'm working on now. It's bigger than this one, so it's going to be like, oh boy. So it's harder to do. It takes a little longer to do, but we do our best. You know why? Because we love doing this. This is ours. This is ours. But do look out for a totally different film coming from me next year that is going to just make your mouth drop. It's going to make your eyes, put your hand over your eyes. It's going to be just exciting. In fact, you're going to be the edge of your seat. It's going to be really, really fun to do. It's going to be a fun movie to do. It's going to be an indie movie. No, I didn't get a big contract or anything like that with like a big studio. I wish I did. Trust me, you guys be the first one to know. But it's actually going to be something edgy. It's going to have all the elements, well, most of the elements that everyone should be attracted to, that I feel. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be sexy. It's going to be outrageous a little bit here and there. But one thing it's going to be solid. And it's going to be interesting, and it's going to move. And I don't want this next movie that I'm going to do next year. I'm going to make sure that there's not a time where you can turn your eyes, or a time that you can actually sit back and wait for something new. It's always going to be moving somehow. Not so fast that you can't keep up or you lose your breath on it where you just get annoyed. No, I know how that feels. It's going to be something that just constantly moves. Man, it's going to be cool. You're going to have the sexiest people. You're going to have blood. You're going to have running. You're going to have, just a hellified story that you want to know how is it going to end. You're going to have very interesting characters. They're all going to be different, and then we're going to have some really cool dialogue. And just the overall story itself is going to be interesting enough. Just like this one where you said, you know what, I don't know who is in it, I really don't care too much. I just want to see this movie. Like, how do you tell this? It seems really interesting. That's what I'm going to do. So right now, this day, I have no idea what the story is going to be. Right now, I know what I want in it. I just don't know what I want to put, what it is, like where I'm putting it, you know? So that's just the creative part. I just can't put my headspace in there right now because I'm doing these. But when I do, you guys be the first to know, and I probably even come along and ask you what you think about the new idea. And in between all this, I want to get some other directors. I want to get even my guys and other stuff, and just kind of start interviewing people soon. Like I said, I know I've been saying it for a while. It's just been really tough, but I'm going to try my best. I think it'll be more exciting. It'll be fun to talk about, and just to see another perspective, you know, and speak with them and see what they think and how they did things, you know, and just kind of like compared to like mine, you know what I mean? So, you know, we can just, you know, have a little banter or whatever, you know what I mean? That'd be fun. That'd be really fun. So anyway, okay. All right, everyone. Again, this is Absence, the Green Fairy. You got to get down with this. Go on YouTube and look under Green Fairy or Absence and to see how you can get some for yourself. Anyway, love you all. You guys take care. Be careful out there, and I will see you next week.